The original trilogy is now wrapped up as we just finished watching Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. And what are your initial thoughts right off the bat?
It was a really good finale to the trilogy.
Well, you did like it.
Yeah, I did like it a lot. I thought it was just as good as the fifth one.
Oh, okay, thank God. I was like, as we were watching it, obviously we're watching a movie, so there's not much reaction, but I was like, I don't think he likes it.
No, I thought it was great. I just didn't you say people don't like the Endor stuff and like the Ewoks?
Yeah, people like this movie. Like it's an original trilogy. Everyone likes the original trilogy. But I think a lot of people find this the weakest one of the original trilogy. A lot of people feel like this movie kind of like the last one was such like serious tone. And then you go to this movie and it kind of feels kind of childish, a lot of people say. When you
Oh,
have the things like the Ewoks and Boba Fett dies in his really
oh,
goofy
oh my
fashion.
God! That was. There's two scenes that sucked, and that was one of them. Maybe three scenes that
Yeah.
sucked. It just
But
brings back like he can't write off character deaths. Boba Fett's death was really lame.
I don't know if that was like an attempt to be funny. George Lucas didn't direct this movie. I don't know if he told him that's how.
It would have been funny if it wasn't Boba Fett, this character that had all this build up.
Yeah. Apparently he lives that. Fun fact.
What? How? Or in what?
Uh,
In
Comics or whatever. It's just he doesn't
uh
die from that.
I mean the
But I
Emperor
mean,
lived the explosion of the Death Star, so
yeah, that's. We'll get to that movie. That movie. Are you seeing why that movie pisses me off? It makes this seem. It takes away the moment from this movie, and it just ruins it. Because I love that moment where he's like, that's later in the movies. I don't know if you want to cover it now.
we'll get there. I want to go
Okay.
back to you said it's like more childish and that's why people don't like it.
Yeah, there were a lot of aspects in this movie that kind of felt like it was trying to lean towards maybe children.
I didn't really like I guess I can see that cuz Jabba's palace and stuff, but
Yeah.
I think it just made it more fun. Like it's a fun sci-fi adventure.
It doesn't bother me at all. That's why I'm really happy to hear that you really like this movie like me. I was like, am I the only one that like, fucking loves this movie?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Star Wars was ever meant to be taken like super seriously.
From rewatching these, especially like the original one with you, like it had that feeling of like fun. I enjoy that they incorporate some of those like fun, it's a movie type aspects. Unlike the prequels, it just felt like so kind of like dry and dead at times because it was like trying to be so serious. Actually, it was kind of funny because it was trying to be so serious, like the prequels.
Yeah,
And it just came
cuz
off as dumb.
exactly.
I'm not saying you should throw a joke in after every single fucking line, but
Jar Jar. Yeah, I loved the whole Ewok battle.
I like that too. I think a lot of people find that unbelievable that like these little teddy bears are fighting off.
But there's a lot of them.
They're fighting them off. They're using those like they set up those traps and like the trees and stuff, and those two giant trees come down and just smash that one.
Yeah, that was really cool. Like they're
PTSD. Yeah,
rolling down logs and stuff and finding out ways to take. I thought that was believable.
that's another thing I don't think a lot of people. I don't say hate, but don't care for is the Ewoks. Maybe
They
it's because I grew up with them, but this is new to you, and you don't mind them at all either.
Yeah, I've definitely never seen this one. I thought they looked kind of ugly, especially that first one.
They got big eyes and buck teeth. They like captured them and they like see C3PO and they're like he's a god. Like I love that shit. It's fun.
It reminded me of like Pirates of the Caribbean or Indiana Jones, cuz isn't there similar scenes in those where they get tied up by like the tribe and they have to escape?
Oh jeez.
I'm almost
Indiana Jones.
positive. That's what it reminded me of. And I was like, I like this kind of stuff cuz it's
Yeah. I like this story.
I liked Palpatine a lot. He was a really cool cuz we haven't really seen him before.
Yeah, this is technically supposed to be like the first time seeing Palpatine.
Yeah, and he's cool. Like they hide his face for
Yeah, he
most of
actually
it.
feels sinister. He's just like he looks like an old man. He's just walking, but you can barely see his face. He's got the cane.
He doesn't have a lightsaber.
Yeah, he doesn't use a lightsaber. He doesn't need that shit.
I guess Lucas added in a bunch of scenes again in this one. They were all shit.
Oh, they were terrible in this movie.
That was like the worst part. I think that was the worst Star Wars scene I've ever watched in my life. The part in Jabba's palace where that
Java,
thing's singing.
yeah, it probably is. You could argue the worst moment in Star Wars.
That was worse than Jar Jar for me. Like the fucking voice they used, and it looked just so bad.
Song was terrible too.
I don't know
That was
why he thought that was a good idea.
everyone's just a yes man at Lucasfilms. They're like, "Yep, looks good. I love it. Great addition." That was terrible.
It's just insane that he spawned this amazing thing, and he goes back and fucks it up. It's like he actually got dementia or something, or just like went insane. All those aliens in there look so good. That the little puppet they keep cutting to, he's so
One that kept
adorable.
laughing.
Yeah, I love that guy.
The Pratt, yeah, when they actually use like real costumes for these aliens, they look great.
Jabba looks really good, and even Palpatine looks way better than the prequels. I just got this feeling throughout this like whole trilogy that the prequels really didn't need to exist at all. Like
Right.
watching the prequels, I felt like, oh, this is kind of cool how they're setting up all the backstory for these characters. But now after watching the original trilogy, it's like they didn't need any backstory at all.
They really didn't.
Like Vader would almost be way cooler. Probably, you know what? He would be 1,000 times cooler
He would be.
if it was just the context of this movie. We didn't need to see him turn to the dark side and all that. It kind of leaves it up to your imagination to picture like why Vader turned, and it's very ridiculous like how convenient everything is for everything to fall into place. And like why did Jango Fett or Boba Fett need a backstory at all? Like he didn't need anything.
He really didn't. You could have just made him a character that appeared in the fifth movie.
So now I see why the prequels. Because before I was like, I like them as their own
Well, like,
separate like trilogy. It's like
yeah,
its own thing. I don't like that it's supposed to lead up to what we're seeing now. Because this is
yeah,
a thousand
exactly.
times better. And also, it doesn't need a future trilogy either. Like that was the perfect ending. We don't need 3 more movies.
The only one that was like somewhat different was like the eighth movie they made. Well, we'll get to it. First off, that fight between Luke and Darth Vader, that's might be like my second favorite Star Wars fight.
I think that's my favorite.
From like watching like the original trilogies and building up to this movie, I feel like that's when like the true clash between like Vader and Luke
Both fights, even the one in the last movie with
was
Vader and
very good.
Luke,
Yeah.
are very good because they're both like really aggressive and they're really trying to hit each other.
Yeah, like it feels like someone's like the aggressor and trying to attack, and the other person gotta like deflect it,
Yeah.
defend themselves. It's not like two guys just like simultaneously just hitting each other at the exact moment, like a routine dance.
They really figured out the effects by this movie for lightsaber because the first movie was really lame. Second one's a bit better, and
Yeah.
this one it's pretty good.
Right. I love it. I love this fight. When he gets like all pissed off after Vader talking all that shit, and he like really goes in on him, and he like cuts his hand off, and he sees like he's become his father. His father's got the robotic hand. He has a robotic hand.
And
That's one of
then
my favorite moments.
Vader
And
throws him off the cliff, and he has a shitty dubbed over line.
yes, so like the Emperor strikes Luke with lightning. Vader then turns back to the good side, takes the Emperor with one fucking hand, like he's like world's strongest man, chucks him over his side, he blows up and he dies. He's supposed to be dead. Which is why, because this is not spoilers, this is literally the marketing for the most recent Star Wars movie, that the Emperor is still alive. It
Yeah.
completely destroys that moment. It's like, did Vader do that for nothing? Is he indestructible?
Do they rebuild the Death Star again, or do they have like multiple Death Stars?
They didn't rebuild it.
Or will I see?
Is
I
this
guess.
spoiler?
I'll find out. I can't wait to see
You'll
what the
find
fuck
out,
they do.
but
They just keep bringing everything back. It's like, what's the point? They keep just risking their lives each time to destroy everything, and then it all just comes right back again.
they built that Death Star pretty fast. It was like operating too. Like,
Actually, I didn't even mind it that much because when going into this and I heard they rebuilt the Death Star, I was like, that's so lazy and stupid. But at least it was just like it was half built. A lot of it doesn't even take place on it, and it's kind of like a trap, anyways. Like they're not really planning to use it.
I actually really enjoyed that scene when they're in space trying to blow up the Death Star.
Yeah, that was like the space battle. Every movie has a space battle part.
Yeah.
And it was good again.
Characters are still great. Sound is still great. Practical effects are still great. Like that stays like the same. throughout
Yeah,
the
it's the perfect trilogy. Final thing that really got me with this movie is the where Vader takes off his helmet. He's like dying in Luke's arms. I've never seen that.
Yeah,
I
that's
had no
great.
idea that he like. It was pretty emotional. It was a good moment. The music changed too.
It was the Empire theme, but it was kind of like slowed down, just like kind of peak.
Yeah, it was like a melodic version of it. That was so cool.
Did you know he died? You knew he died, right?
I didn't know how he died. I just, cause I knew he kills the Emperor, but then I thought maybe the Emperor like shocked him to death or something, or he blows up with the Death Star. I don't know.
He like, I guess I think he like shorted like his suit, like his suit was fucked because he like zapped him with lightning as he picked him up.
That's yeah. I didn't know he like took his helmet off. He's like, look into my eyes, and it's. I didn't realize he became such a good guy. All right. Well, in the end, like I said, I think it's pretty much on par with episode 5 for me. So I'd give it another 9 out of 10.
Not perfect, but just like the last film, I think I'm gonna also give it a classic score.
Even looking back at the A New Hope, I like that one more and more. I don't. It's like right there at 9 out of 10, but just a little less. It's just they needed time to get used to what they're working with and get the effects up to date and stuff.
Flat out one of the best trilogies of movies. Is that bold? Is that a hot take?
Lord of the Rings fans might not like that.
I haven't seen those.
Harry Potter. It's not really a trilogy.
Godfather.
Godfather. Yeah. I mean, just for like fun action movies, they're damn good. So this has actually, I think, the lowest critic score so far. Though the weakest of the trilogy, Return of the Jedi offers a satisfying conclusion to the Skywalker storyline. The notable success of this film is the visual effects being the best of the trilogy and the story arc of Luke being well developed and resolved, culminating in one of the greatest fight scenes in film history. Fortunately, the story is lackluster, borrowing heavily from the first film, with beats that are predictable and feels rehashed. I mean, all three kind of have the same structure. They all have a part where it's like the space battle part, or they're in their ships, and then there's a part where they're on the Death Star, and then there's a part where they're on a planet fighting. I mean, it's fine. Like, it works.
Yeah. I don't know.
I guess I do. I agree with this. I mean...
I don't think it's really a flaw, though.
No. I mean, the story is lackluster. It kind of is. That's where you have to kind of turn your brain off and just enjoy, like, the adventure and just kind of follow along. It doesn't all have to be impactful to the overall Luke story. This guy says the inclusion of Ewoks is a fun addition to the story.
Yeah.
So people do like the Ewoks.
It's hit or miss. Some people hate them, some people love them. Maybe me growing up with it helps me.
If they were CGI, that would have ruined it. Famous for being the weakest of the original trilogy, but with the best space battle of the three. The best? I thought the space battle in 5 was the best? Because that was like the stuff on Hoth, I guess?
Oh, yeah, the air, I guess it's like... But yeah, going against the AT-ATs.
Yeah, that was cool. It's just different from... Because they like to just use like the cockpit view and then have like some explosions go off and then...
It's a trap.
While its lows are worse than Empire's lows, the highs in this movie, like Luke vs. Vader and Jabba the Hutt, are some of the best moments in Star Wars. What more can I say of this now almost 40-year-old movie that hasn't been said already, other than it's amazing? And I agree with Luke vs. Vader and the whole Jabba the Hutt fight are definitely highlights of... That's what I think of when I think of Star Wars, honestly. Those two scenarios. He's in The Mandalorian?
Oh, god damn it. Well, there.
Spoiler, and then he just fucking says it.
Yeah, he lives and he appears
in
in
the comics.
Yep. Well, now you know. There you go. I was about to say, like, oh, this guy pissed Boba Fett died. And I, like... And you're like, he's in the Mandalorian. I like look. I'm like, oh, fucking A.
Yeah, I'm gonna close this tab
Fuck.
before it spoils everything else.
That really sucks.
That's stupid that he lives.
It doesn't make sense.
Makes no sense. I mean, thank God, because otherwise his death would have been... His whole
literally...
fucking family tree is just garbage. He did give a spoiler warning, but I kept reading anyways.